Buckout. I served in the Army 26 years, retired as a colonel. I started a business from scratch that created a lot of great jobs for veterans. We help the military develop ways to defeat IEDs, improvised explosive devices, saving the lives of hundreds of American soldiers and preventing thousands of serious injuries. Now let this conservative fighter take on Biden's mess at the border. I'm Lori Buckout. I approve this message.
Who are in our country illegally cast a ballot, it takes the power of your vote away. Visit onlycitizens.vote to find out how you can contact your legislature and get them to pass a citizens-only voting amendment. Again, visit onlycitizens.vote and defend your right to vote. Because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com. Top of the Morning is brought to you by Edward Jones financial advisor Kelly Harmon, providing you with well-researched guidance backed by Edward Jones' extensive team and technology that help you prepare for retirement, children's education, or other financial goals. Call 252-473-1006 or visit the link on the screen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. It is time for Top of the Morning here on the Urban Conservative. I am Abdul Ali, in for my twin brother Raheem, Architect Soto. If you haven't done so already, please jump on over to our website, which is tuconservative.com. You see it on the screen. Our mission is to share conservative values and principles and the benefits of conservative policies to urban areas across this great nation of ours. You can also find our podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts: Apple, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Player FM, Spotify. And if there's somewhere you want us to be that we are not, let us know and we will get on there wherever you listen to podcasts. I also got to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, I am indeed running for U.S. House District 12 here in the great state of North Carolina. I am running to make sure we are working to make this country better. We would appreciate your support by visiting aliforcongress.com. That is ALIFOR, congress.com. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know y'all seen it. I know y'all are going through it. I know you probably listening right now. If you're not on your way to work already, you're already at work listening to the show. And one of the difficult things you had to do, if you didn't do it this morning, you did it at some point yesterday or last night, which is you went and filled up your gas tank. Okay? I know you filled up your gas tank. You got gas at some point in the last couple of days, and you asked yourself a question. And that question is, how come gas is so expensive? Now, we can't blame Putin. We can't blame Ukraine. We can't blame anybody else other than the guy on your screen, President Joe Biden. And as if things could not get worse, the nationwide average price for regular gas topped $3.54 a gallon, a spike of more than 45% under Joe Biden. AAA reported this yesterday on Wednesday. In the past month, gas prices rose 20 cents, about $1 more expensive than it was when Trump left office. We were at $2.38 when Trump left office. Now, gas prices remain high and could go higher due to industry and political factors. Biden's economic war on American energy independence during instability in the Middle East and in Ukraine are indeed significant factors, according to Breitbart. According to Goldman Sachs, gas prices could reach $4 a gallon by May. A number of factors driving oil prices higher. So you have the expectation that OPEC is going to carry on with production cuts. There's also been rising tensions in the Middle East. That has also been sending prices higher. A Yahoo News report said on Wednesday, and consumers are feeling the pinch of the increased costs. Now, here's the other problem. We don't have a strategic petroleum reserve. And the reason why Biden doesn't want to put more gas into the strategic oil reserve is because the gas is so daggone expensive. You don't say. Gas is more expensive, right? It costs more. So let's not make sure that we have a reserve to support the American people. Now, the difficulty of this is that Jay Young, CEO of King Operation Corporation, told NBC in Dallas, "I just don't see it going down. So if you want to drive further this summer, be prepared to pay more." Patrick DeHaan, the head of the petroleum analysis at Gas Buddy, said consumers should not worry. We're basically right on par with what we tend to see. Now, gas prices are high by historical standards and not just compared with the very low gas prices seen during the pandemic lockdowns when the weekly national average gas price fell below $1.80. In 2018, gasoline averaged around $2.72. The following year, it was $2.60. So the problem that we have is that people like Joe Biden don't have to pay for their gas. That's the problem. That's ideally the issue is people like Joe Biden he never in his life has had to pay for gas. In his entire adult working career, I would dare say Joe Biden doesn't even know how to use a gas pump. I would venture to say he doesn't even know how to use a pump, ladies. But there you have it. Gas $3.54 nationally here in the United States. I'd rather have mean tweets and cheap gas than what we're dealing with right now. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go nowhere. We're going to cover more here on Top of the Morning. We'll be right back. We're going to talk a little bit about what's happening down at the Texas border. Y'all don't move. Don't go nowhere. This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com. This episode of the Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're back here on Top of the Morning here on the Urban Conservative. Thank you so much for joining us each and every morning for the best 30-minute morning show on the planet. If you don't know, the Texas border problem is still ongoing. I know the Biden and the left-leaning media wants you to worry about Diddy. They want you to worry about Beyonce's country album. They want you to worry about Cat Williams beefing with comedians. They want y'all worried about whether or not a basketball player is going to the WNBA or whether she's going to go play for Ice Cube in the Big Three. They want y'all worried about Lizzo deciding to quit music or quit the negativity, whatever it is. They want you worried about everything else other than what's actually important, folks. That's what the media would have you focusing on. And according to a source within the Texas National Guard, and this is as of yesterday, migrants continue to breach border barriers erected by the state to keep them from reaching Border Patrol agents to gain release into the United States. The senior level source told Breitbart, Texas, that the border barriers consisting of concertina wire and no-climb fence are cut between 75 to 100 times daily. On average, the source says more than 150 migrants managed to breach cut wire and fencing each and every day. Once on the north side of the Texas-built barrier, the migrants surrender to Border Patrol agents to claim asylum and win a quick release into the United States as their cases drag on for years and overburden immigration courts nationwide. The source currently on deployment to El Paso said that soldiers make every effort to deny and prevent migrants from entering the United States and reaching Border Patrol. In the end, most do so. The guardsman, who is not authorized to speak to the media, said the human smugglers and migrants are cutting the fence and concertina wire nightly. Repairs are made daily and additional layers are added occasionally, but the repairs seem to offer little deterrent to the hundreds of migrants seeking to gain entry each day. In March, more than 400 rushed past the Attorney General, rushed past the Texas Army National Guard soldiers who were attempting to hold them back at an area known as Gate 36 near the heart of downtown El Paso. The Texas Department of Public Safety confirmed the arrest of 214 of them on state rioting charges in connection with the March 21st incident, and according to Texas DPS, the group has been in federal custody for illegal entry and have since been rebooked on state rioting charges, which is a Class B misdemeanor. Many of the migrants are ordered released on their own recognizance by a Texas judge who accused the El Paso District's Attorney's Office of not being prepared for detention hearings. Those ordered released by presiding magistrate Judge Humberto Ocasta will be held until they can be taken into custody by ICE. Others facing more serious charges remain in custody. 9 migrants are facing felony rioting charges. 7 migrants are currently in custody and have been booked in the El Paso County Jail. 2 others are not in custody and facing outstanding arrest warrants. Migrants facing more serious charges include Junior Evaristo Benitez Martinez of Venezuela, rioting, felony criminal mischief, assault on a public servant. Kider Jose Zurita Apante of Venezuela, rioting, felony criminal mischief, assault on a public servant. 18-year-old Gregorio Jose Guillarte Acosta, rioting. Omar Alejandro Colmenares, 27. Joshua Fernando Garcia, 18. Luis Jesus Chacon of Venezuela. And Martin Elias Velazquez Cedeno, 46. Notice that most of these guys are of a military age. Does that seem to strike anybody else as odd that these people are of a military age coming into our country? Why is it that military age men, and why is it that the crime rate seem to be going down in the countries where these people are coming from? I don't know if those things, correlation doesn't always equal causation, ladies and gentlemen. But just don't be distracted by the fact that they're worried, the media wants us concentrating on Lizzo. They want us concentrating on Beyonce. They want us worried about what comedians like Cat Williams and them are saying. They don't want us focused on the fact that our country is being invaded, folks. There you have it. We'll be right back here on the Urban Conservative. Don't go nowhere. We're going to talk a little bit about the North Carolina's governor's race when we come back here on the Urban Conservative. Be right back. Who are in our country illegally cast a ballot. It takes the power of your vote away. Visit onlycitizens.vote to find out how you can contact your legislature and get them to pass a citizens-only voting amendment. Again, visit onlycitizens.vote and defend your right to vote. All right, ladies and gentlemen, back on the Urban Conservative. I can't for the life of me, right? I can't for the life of me. No, maybe I can't. You know, I like Mark Robinson. I like what he stands for. I've met him a few times. I've had an opportunity to spend time with him up in Greensboro. And the interesting thing is if he was a Democrat, the fact that he is North Carolina's first black lieutenant governor would not stop being promoted on TV, the radio, the internet, magazines. It would be everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. But do you know why I go around the state of North Carolina and I talk to people and they still, 4 years later, don't recognize the fact that we have had our first black lieutenant governor in North Carolina? Do you know why they don't want people, especially black folks, to know about Mark Robinson? Because he's a Republican. And the sad part about that is you have people in this country right now, people in the state of North Carolina right now, who could use some sort of hope, who could use the fact that this man came from absolutely nothing. They could use the hope that comes from the fact that just a few years ago, Mark Robinson was an assembly line worker. They could use hope in the fact that somebody like Mark Robinson, who came from a broken home, essentially, ladies and gentlemen, who came from a broken home, could become North Carolina's second highest ranking elected official and now is running for governor, folks. That should be the story. But what does the left want to do? They want to take bits and pieces of a speech that he gave and say, Mark Robinson hates women. He said he wants to go back to a time where women couldn't vote. Never mind the 30 seconds before. Never mind putting the quote in context. Never mind that. And that is the tactics of the left. They will take everything that you say, find what they want to use out of it, create a narrative around it, and then go ahead and say, look, he hates women. Somebody ought to tell his wife that he hates women. Somebody should remind her of that. Miss Yolanda, so apparently your husband hates women, Miss Yolanda. I don't know how that works. But you look at some of these things, right? The fact that Rush Limbaugh is the one that inspired him to get into politics. And I've heard the Mark Robinson story about how he couldn't find anything wrong with what Rush Limbaugh was saying. But what does the left do? Rush Limbaugh's a racist. Never mind that it was a black guy, Professor Walter Williams, who would come in and fill for Rush Limbaugh. Never mind that Mark Robinson's a black guy. He's just not the right kind of black guy. Never mind that he's talking about the things that matter, the things that most people know are common sense, like there are men and women. There's no plethora of genders, right? No matter what some weird scientist, some weird academic wants to suggest, Mark Robinson is standing on the foundation that God made men and women. What's wrong with that? But the fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about somebody who is an absolute nightmare to the left, absolute nightmare to the Democrats, of an independent-minded, thinking, black, conservative, Christian Republican who happens to think that we should be focusing on making education good in this state again. We should be focusing on teaching our children how to read, how to write, and how to do math. Who thinks we ought to be focused on the issues that are important to keeping North Carolina number one for doing business and not meddling in the affairs of LGBTQ stuff. Now, did he say that we shouldn't be? He did not say, because this is another thing, and I'm reading this article here from People, right? And it's as left as you can get. They're saying he said we should go back to a time when women couldn't vote. That's not what he said. If I pull up the whole video, y'all will be like, yeah, but that's not what he said. And I'm not going to, because it's stupid to do. Then they're saying he called, he quoted Hitler. Come on, folks. He quoted Hitler to point out how wrong Hitler was. And that's what the left, that's just their typical MO, is they want to go and they want to inflame their base. They want to make you think, the Mark Robinson is Hitler-esque. This is the rule that the left goes by. And then the more interesting part is that to see the black church every Sunday, they sit up in their churches and they talk about how much they love God and how much they follow the Bible. And Mark Robinson is actually standing on what the Bible said. Male and female, I created you both. Bible doesn't say male, female, shim, sure, them, their. Doesn't say that. Now, the fact of the matter is, Mark Robinson will most likely be the governor of North Carolina. And to be truthful with you, that terrifies the left, because Mark Robinson wins, Donald Trump wins. We start bringing this country back to a sense of normality. We stop paying attention to what, I'm sorry. And I'm not sorry, but at this point, we've got to stop coddling mental illness in our country. We have to stop it. You can't tell me for 1 second the person that started Transgender Day of Visibility is not mentally ill. You can't tell me that the person that started Transgender Day of Visibility is not mentally ill. Come on, y'all. Are you telling me? Hold on. Y'all are telling me that this person right here is in their right mind. That's clearly a man, y'all. That's clearly a man. At what point are we in America going to stop coddling this insanity? So you want me to believe Mark Robinson is wrong. You want me to believe that Mark Robinson somehow hates women because he's pointing out the fact that you cannot change what God made you. You cannot change from being a man to being a woman. You cannot change from being a woman to being a man. A man has no place in a women's locker room. A man has no place in a women's bathroom. Now, the other argument that they're going to make is that, it doesn't happen. There's been trans people using the bathrooms at the sex that they feel like they are for a long time. Sure. But now it's coming out. Look at what happened in Planet Fitness. This is not, folks, we've got to stop in this country coddling mental illness. We have to stop allowing mentally ill people to dictate what happens in our country. We have to get back to a point where people who stand for the simple, plain American values of God, family, and country are back in office. This is where this is why we need Mark Robinson as governor. We don't need a career politician. Josh Stein is a career politician. Do you think for 1 second Josh Stein is going to do anything other than what the left wants him to do? He's only done that as attorney general for the last 4 years. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Mark Robinson is the left's absolute nightmare. Black unapologetically, Christian unapologetically, conservative unapologetically, Republican unapologetically. And then you got to factor in, and look, ultimately what you got to realize is the voters make the decision, folks. Republican Party leadership doesn't decide. The voters decide. Is there probably an element of folks within the GOP that are like never Trumpers, never Robinsoners? Sure. But it's not up to them. It's up to the people. And from what I'm seeing out here, what I'm hearing from folks, people have had enough. Pushing a sexualized agenda in the classroom? Why are we talking? Mark Robinson did not call people filth. Listen to this story. Speaking at Asbury Baptist Church in June of 2021, there's absolutely, and quoting Mark Robinson, there's absolutely no reason anybody anywhere in America should be telling any child about transgenderism, homosexuality, any of that filth. Yes, I called it filth. Did he say those people are filth, or did he say teaching transgenderism in a classroom to babies is filth? Because there's a distinction to be made. Let's be accurate with what we're saying. And that's what the left will do. The left will tell you, oh, but Mark Robinson called homosexual people filth. No, he didn't. So don't fall for the okie doke, ladies and gentlemen. Don't fall for the hype. Don't let him tell you that Mark Robinson is bad. Don't let him tell you he hates women. It's the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard, ladies and gentlemen. But once again, you've been checking out Top of the Morning here on the Urban Conservative, the best little 30-minute morning show on the internet. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you follow us. Give us a like, share, follow, subscribe. You can find us any and everywhere. Facebook at The Urban Conservative or TU Conservative. Instagram at The Urban Conservative. Also, catch us over on X, formerly known as Twitter, at TUC Twins and The Urban Conservative. We will be live and direct with you again on tomorrow for the weekly wrap-up here on The Urban Conservative. For my twin brother, Raheem Architect Soto, I am Abdul Ali. You have been checking out Top of the Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all have a positive and productive rest of the day.